'tis the season.
It's a time for me to sit down and more especially look how I want to improve in terms of discipline.
Some advice for those 2026 resolutions. Delayed in Welland murder trial into the death of a young woman from Essex. And a proposed boost to primetime parking.
It's just totally ridiculous, them taking a raise it until 9 o'clock.
Windsor's city budget under attack.
CTV News with Stephanie Mazzotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Stephanie is off tonight. I'm Michelle Maluske. Well, as the calendar flips to 2026 tonight, many people are setting their New Year's resolutions. And we wanted to find out what goals people are hoping to achieve in the year ahead. Robert Lothian joins us now. Robert, what were you hearing from people here in Windsor about this issue?
Well, Michelle, as the saying often goes, new year, so new me, right? From fitness to finance, there are a lot of people out there looking to improve their lives in 2026. But as we all know, creating the resolutions is the easy part. It's actually following through that can be quite difficult. As the clock ticks down and the calendar prepares to flip, many find themselves reflecting on the last 365 days.
It's a time for me to sit down and more especially look how I want to improve in terms of discipline.
Ringing in the new year, though, wouldn't be complete without a New Year's resolution. A promise to yourself that 2026 will include an infusion of change to help reach a certain goal.
So my personal goals would be to become a landowner, maybe start a business, and hit the gym more often.
I want to eat less candy and start working out more.
Same. I think we're both going to make some healthy decisions and move our bodies a lot more.
Yeah.
I want to spend every work day skating on the rink. And then for the remainder of the year, I'd really like to look at eating a little bit cleaner on a regular basis.
A healthier lifestyle, healthy eating, more movement.
Some people we spoke with say their resolutions are already underway.
I think that this year I started my New Year resolutions early as to not have so much pressure on myself and doing it all in the new year.
While others feel the tradition can be discouraging.
I typically won't follow through with it for the whole entire year, so I'm not trying to set myself up for failure.
Failure has become a theme in following through on New Year's resolutions. Each passing week makes the new gym routine harder to follow, or a desire to save more money a much taller task.
Just making it sustainable, making it easy, making it attractive for you as well.
The key experts say is to start small, building on each goal over time, create a detailed plan to map out each step, and consider finding a deeper meaning to help on the hardest of days.
I'm a father and I want to be here for my daughter, so therefore I want to be healthy.
Most importantly, a slip-up doesn't make the resolution a failure. It's just a reminder to get back up and continue towards your goal.
Nice. So that obvious question after that, Robert, and I love the slip up with the ice and getting back up. Beautiful. What is your resolution for 2026? Do you have one?
As you know, I've thought long and hard about this, and we've decided that for 2026, it's going to be making my bed every day. It sounds difficult. Trust me, it's very easy to forget.
It would be easy to forget, but I really like this one because it's simple to do, and there's a great payoff every single day when you get into bed. Oh, it's such a nice feeling to open the bed.
As a parent, I knew that'd put a smile on your face. Now, for yourself, what are you thinking in 2026?
So mine is a bit of gonna date myself a little bit. I want to spend less time on social media, and I got a count by number painting thing last Christmas. I think I need to finish it in 2026. So small, easy, attainable.
Let's hope that when we do this story heading into 2027, we can make sure that that's done.
We can have a good report. All right. Thanks so much for this, Robert. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Robert Lothian reporting for us tonight in the newsroom. And of course, that takes us to our question of the day. Do you make New Year's resolutions? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. As New Year's Eve celebrations approach, Windsor Police reminding residents to put safety first. Police will be conducting traffic checks throughout the night. The message remains the same: never drive while impaired by alcohol, drugs, or fatigue. Police encourage, if you plan to drink or use cannabis, arrange a safe ride home before you leave or just stay overnight. Police also advise to not allow anyone to get behind the wheel that you think may be impaired. To help with plans to arrive home safely, VetsCab is putting over 200 drivers on the road tonight. Emile Nabout, president of Unifor Local 195, says over the past year, the company has invested in different software to ensure that the taxi dispatch system can handle all the calls. Those hosting large gatherings are encouraged to contact the company so drivers could be designated to your area.
You can reach out us through many factors. You can use app, you can book us, book cab through the website, the new updated VetsCab website. You can, there's some of the bus stop benches, there's the advertisement of VetsCab, you can scan the code there.
So talking about the roads and New Year's Eve, meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with his first look at New Year's Eve weather.
Happy New Year, Michelle. Happy New Year, folks. It's been a dangerous drive this afternoon now into the early evening. We are blanketed by snow. Northwesterlies fetching across Lake Huron, Lake St. Clair, Georgian Bay, right through the heart of southern Ontario proper. Tonight is cold, windy. It's icy already on the roads, and they're still trying to treat them. Tomorrow morning is frigid, but we actually might see some sunshine, significant sunshine, on a very cold and below seasonal day. I'll break down what you need to know for tonight into the first day of 2026 just ahead, and the first weekend, which may surprise you in terms of the weather trend.
Thanks so much, Gary. Renewed calls this week for Ontario to declare intimate partner violence an epidemic following yesterday's sentencing of a Michigan man for murder.
He's convicted and sentenced. Now what? Especially in this type of crime where we have, 2 weeks down the road, there will be the next Ontario woman, and then 2 weeks after that, it will be another one. So this is something that we have to deal with.
Fartumo Kusau is the mother of 36-year-old Sarah Boulay, killed by her husband, 47-year-old Brian Marbury, in May 2023. Marbury was sentenced yesterday to life in prison. Now, during that hearing, however, Justice Ian Leach referred to intimate partner violence as a, quote, horrible scourge which continues to plague society. The court also learned for the first time Marbury was subjected to physical and verbal abuse as a child himself. Windsor West MPP Lisa Gretzky attended that hearing Tuesday. She told the media outside of court she's hopeful the conclusion of this case won't stop the conversation on the dangers of domestic violence.
What we need are better systems in place to stop that cycle. To think that in this province, it is not unheard of for people who experience violence to then go on and be perpetrators themselves. So we need better connected services, better funded services, and more education in order to stop that cycle of violence and to support victims.
A murder trial in Welland, Ontario has been adjourned over the holidays. It's into the deaths of 21-year-old Juliana Panunzio of Essex and 18-year-old Christine Crooks of Toronto. 27-year-old Christopher Lucas of Toronto pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder when his trial started back on October 20th. At that time, the jury was told the trial would conclude before Christmas. That didn't happen, so they were given 2 weeks off for the holidays. No reason was given to the jury, but they were asked to return on Monday, January 5th. According to the Niagara Falls Review, the jury has heard from dozens of witnesses, many partygoers on January 19th when the murder happened. None have been able to identify the shooter. Canada Border Services Agency says there were 5 weapons seized in 7 days at border crossings in southwestern Ontario. Between December 7th and December 15th, officers confiscated 2 firearms at the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, another at the Ambassador Bridge, and 2 more on the Walpole Island Ferry. 6 magazines, 21 rounds of ammunition, a firearm silencer, and 2 canisters of pepper spray, and a switchblade were also seized. CBSA says penalties range from $500 to $1,500. All seizures exempt, except for one, were from U.S. residents. Meantime, the City of Windsor has denied our Freedom of Information request into a settlement offer to its former engineer. As we reported here in mid-November, the City of Windsor has settled a wrongful dismissal lawsuit filed by Chris Nepsey. In a very public back and forth, Nepsey accused City Hall of operating a culture of corruption after he was fired without severance in 2023. The city fired back, accusing Nepsey of trying to embarrass City Hall after he couldn't perform his duties correctly. With the $1.5 million lawsuit now settled, both sides have refused to comment, citing privacy and non-disclosure agreements. CTV News filed a Freedom of Information request to see that agreement and any financial settlement that might have been using taxpayer dollars. Windsor has rejected that request. They say it contains labor negotiations with an employee. We have until mid-January to decide whether or not to appeal Windsor's decision. Staying with City Hall, Council is set to start hearing from public delegations on the proposed 2026 budget in about a week and a half. But already there is one line item that's already generating a lot of pushback. It's a plan to extend paid parking at meters by 2 more hours. Travis Fortnum has been digging into that part of the budget for us today. And Travis, you spoke with a business that says that this would hit them very hard.
Yeah, as you can imagine, restaurants downtown and where there are parking meters, they see a bump in business when that enforcement stops and people can park for free out front. I went to Sun-Dried Tomato Bistro on Chatham Street, and they hate this idea. They say the move to extend paid parking to 7 p.m. last year already took a toll, and pushing it to 9 would be devastating for downtown businesses.
The dinner rush at Sun-Dried Tomato Bistro isn't what it used to be, and staff say one change made last year helped shift how and where people choose to eat.
Everybody who comes in complains about the parking.
Like most downtown restaurants, customers park at meters, which for years were free after 6 p.m. But last June, the city extended paid parking enforcement to 7 o'clock. Staff say that was enough to change customer behavior, with some diners choosing restaurants elsewhere and others cutting their visit short to avoid paying more.
Big noticeable in the business. Big time.
Now, under Windsor's proposed 2026 budget, the city is considering extending paid parking even further until 9 p.m.
It's just totally ridiculous, them thinking of raising it until 9 o'clock. We never even got Christmas lights downtown this year. And they need more money? I mean, come on.
City officials estimate collecting at meters for 2 additional hours could bring in about $650,000 a year, helping keep the property tax rate flat. But business owners worry for those who still come, it would turn a night out into a meal on the clock.
People who sit here, enjoy a bottle of wine with their meal. Now they want the meal rushed out for they don't have to put more money in the meter. I mean, $1, $2, $3, a lot of money to some people.
I've already had plenty of phone calls and plenty of conversations, and those conversations and phone calls I'm certain will continue.
Downtown Councillor Ronaldo Agostino says he's not sold on the proposed extension and says it's still early in the budget process. The Downtown Windsor BIA also opposes the move, arguing it puts downtown businesses at a disadvantage compared to other areas of the city where there are fewer parking meters. And it's not just customers who would feel the impact.
I've gotten many $27 fines because I come into work, we end up busy, I'm too busy to go out and pay the meter.
Those parking fines, by the way, are also proposed to increase by 2 to 3% under the same budget, with public delegations on the 2026 budget expected to begin in January.
Councillors only received the draft budget earlier this week, and Agostino says this parking proposal was one of the first things that jumped out at him. He tells me he's working on a few alternative ideas, but says it's too early to share details. The first round of public budget delegations is expected to get underway on January 12th.
All right, thanks so much for this, Travis. We've been kind of dissecting the budget all week, and clearly this is not the last of the budget stories we're going to have to do going into 2026.
100%, and we'll be there on January 12th, I'm sure.
And I'm sure lots of Windsorites will be as well.
Yes, exactly.
All right, thanks so much. Travis Fortnum reporting for us tonight in the newsroom. Also in Windsor's proposed 2026 budget, $1.5 million has been earmarked for the construction of a splash pad at Sandpoint Beach on the city's east end. Ward 6 Councillor Angelo Marignani says a closer look at the budget shows the funding is a one-time investment with no additional money allocated beyond that. He notes the 1.5 represents roughly 10% of the overall Sandpoint Beach master plan, which calls for the relocation of the beach further east to steer clear of a steep drop-off and strong currents. Marignani says the limited funding means long-standing safety concerns at the beach, which led the city to fence off the area, will remain unaddressed.
In fact, I'm thinking of doing some sort of public campaign just so that people are aware of this. Is that what they want? If so, that's what we do. But if that's not what they want, then we have to do something else.
LaSalle's mayor is calling their new winter loop a success. The $9 million project opened November 28th, the summer water feature earlier this summer. Crystal Maluske says the space is being used at all times of the day, and every time she drops by, the loop is always full of skaters. Skaters range from little ones just learning to seniors. Maluske says a handful of naysayers have reached out to her to say they are now welcoming of the project. A dozen students from the University of Windsor are teaming up, transforming fish waste into healthy, sustainable dog treats. The project, called 1,100% Fish, will divert millions of pounds of waste every year. Here's CTV's Stephanie Mazzotti.
There's the bones, like the skeleton, obviously, the scales, the remaining fat that they have, like the meat. Anything like that, even the eyes we get.
Roseanne Hamoud is the bio lead for Project 100% Fish, which uses waste no longer needed by Canada's largest privately owned lake fish company, John O' Foods in Wheatley. Waste that would end up in a landfill.
They only really use 60% of it. We take the 40% waste, and that we use 100% of that to make different products. So right now we're really focusing on the dog biscuits.
The fish gets thawed out and rinsed under cold water. 2 pounds of it is weighed and placed in a pressure cooker for 45 minutes. It's then grinded into the food processor.
Then we add the other ingredients to it, like pumpkin, flour, eggs. Then we lay it out, cut the cookies, bake them, and package them.
The process takes 6 hours.
We're waiting to make sure it's completely safe. I'm sure it is, but we just want to make sure everything's good and we go through all the correct testing before we give it to any pet.
The end result, what's called Erie Eco Bites. Biggest challenge, scalability.
The way that we get the fish waste and then getting it to us and then us actually making the product, there's got to be a lot of work to do for us to sell the product at a larger scale.
It's a great opportunity for us to combine both Odette business students and biology students here at the Great Lakes Institute to kind of combine and use both their strengths to produce this product and then produce essentially students that have training for the next generation of entrepreneurs.
There's also a charitable component to the project.
For every dog treat we sell, we want to give back one treat to the Humane Society.
Dog treats aren't the only products these University of Windsor students are working on.
We're hopefully going to do like a burn cream, so you put it on and it helps the burns heal faster, a collagen powder and a collagen cream as well.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
Do you have an idea for a great story? We want to hear from you. Text us at 10400. You can also send supporting photos or video. Missing for over a decade, Flight 370's fate may finally be uncovered. The latest search for answers still ahead on Windsor's News Leader. And New Year's Eve face-off later. The Spits ring in the new year at the rink, taking on the Spirit.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
More than a decade after it vanished without a trace, the search is resuming for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 and its more than 200 passengers, including a Canadian couple. Now advanced underwater drones are being used to try to get some answers. Here's CTV's John Vanavali Rao.
Search is taking place far out off the coast of Western Australia, with Ocean Infinity, a British-American deep-sea robotics company, using underwater drones that can dive up to 6 kilometers below the surface in the hopes of finally finding Malaysian Airlines 370.
There's reason to be hopeful. They're using the newest technology. They're at a good time of year, and they know where they have searched previously.
The Boeing 777 jet took off in 2014 on a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. On board more than 200 passengers, including this pair of Canadians. The last thing heard from the plane was sent to air traffic control 38 minutes into the flight.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Radar showed the jet made a sudden turn to the west, then south over the Indian Ocean, never to be seen again. Though debris washed ashore on a French island and along Africa's east coast. For relatives of the missing, not knowing what happened for the last 11 years has been agonizing. There were theories about pilot suicide, a fire, or hijacking, but nothing's ever been proven. Zhang Hu lives in Beijing. His mother was on the plane. He says finding that jet, his loved one, and the truth are things he must do in his lifetime. Previous searches, including by Ocean Infinity, were all fruitless. But now the company's zeroing in on 15,000 square kilometers of seabed.
They're looking at just 15,000 square kilometers compared to 250,000 square kilometers that they already searched. So they seem to think that they have a good idea that it's here.
Still, it's not clear why the company is searching that area now, with it only getting paid if the wreckage is discovered.
As for the plane's black boxes, even after being underwater for more than a decade, experts say if found, the data on them should be retrievable. John Vanavali Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
The municipality of Leamington says recycling will continue as usual in January, despite recycling dates not appearing in the 2026 collection calendar. Officials say the schedule was omitted due to the transition to circular materials. The schedule was being finalized when that calendar went to print. A reminder, as of January 1st, Windsor-Essex residents must use the new blue recycling cart for collection. Anyone who has not received one should contact GFL directly. The Windsor Spitfires took no prisoners this afternoon, completely dominating their opponents from the first whistle to the final horn.
Cristoforo, what a play to gather that puck up. Belchez backhand scores. Top cheese for the big cheddar. The Spitfires go up by 2.
That backhanded goal by Ethan Belchez off the rebound doubled the Spitfires' lead 2-0 and his first of 2 goals. John McLaughlin opened the scoring with 1 minute to go in the first period. Congratulations also go out to Jack Nesbitt, who played his 150th OHL game today. Final score, 6-0 for the Spits. The Spitfires aren't the only winners. There is a winner for that $80 million Lotto Max jackpot. The ticket sold in London. If you didn't travel up the 401 to purchase one, there is still hope. A $50,000 ticket was sold in the Windsor area. And still not a winner. Well, it's not too late to snag a lottery ticket to help an important charity in Windsor. The Brentwood Lottery wraps up tonight. Go to our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca, for a link to support their important efforts, helping Windsorites struggling with substance abuse. Despite a losing day to end 2025, the TSX gained almost 30% this year, but today it dropped 153 points. In New York, the Dow fell over 300, the Nasdaq dropped 177. The loonie was slightly off, and gold fell over $45 an ounce. Oil lost 52 cents per barrel. Fair play still to come. We introduce you to a young Ontario entrepreneur working to make hockey affordable for all who want to play the game.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Silvio Carlini for sending us off on a good note. Snow and icy weather conditions in store tonight. It's cold and windy for the last day of 2025. We'll find out how the new year is shaping up weather-wise coming up.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Lots of vehicles to shovel off there today and likely into tonight. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me once again with a broader look at that frosty New Year's Eve forecast. Hey, Gary.
You know, hi, Michelle. We're talking about some snow grains mixed in with some freezing drizzle in that shot. So it's not the best recipe for an evening night out celebrating the end to 2025, bringing in 2026. And we're still looking at whiteout conditions across parts of southern Ontario proper. Today was an ugly day. We had snow in the morning, about 1 centimeter to 3 centimeters. Air quality has been fine, but it's been a cloudy, windy day yet again. Temperatures about 3 to 4 degrees below seasonal. Factor in the winds that are expected to be in the 40 to 60 range in terms of the gusts. Sustained winds will be in the 25 to 35 range for the most part. Some areas a little bit higher than that. So temperatures now as we head into the early evening stage between -1 and -2, but that's between Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent. Again, some areas slightly colder, some areas a little bit milder, closer to the freezing mark. Because of those strong northwesterlies and westerly winds, we're looking at wind chill values near -8 to -9. It's likely to be windy and cold tonight, even colder as we head towards dawn tomorrow morning. Much of Canada is covered in light shades of blue or dark blue, meaning we're at the freezing mark or below, save for parts of BC, Alberta, and on the Atlantic flank, PEI, Newfoundland, and Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia. So, look at this blanket of snow. And we're talking about the entire southern tier of the province. Westerlies, northwesterlies, fetching across Lake Huron, Georgian Bay, and even Lake St. Clair. That's impacting us. Whiteout conditions along highways like the 86, the 6, the 21, eastern shores of Lake Huron further inland. And for us, still, although it's light, it's persistent. Snow grain and ice pellets and even some freezing rain. In terms of snowfall tallies, it's most impressive in the Midwestern tier of southern Ontario. Goderich, Grand Bend, towards Southampton, Mount Forest, Shelburne, Dundalk, Hanover. For us, 2 to 5 centimeters is still possible. Right through the heart of the 401 corridor, Windsor, Essex towards Chatham, Kent. So the drive tonight's not great. Temperatures down to about -7, feeling like about -13 at midnight. Happy New Year, folks. Take a look at the 7-day forecast, courtesy of Enercare. Talking about a cold day, but some sunshine, believe it or not. -6 the high, feels like about -13. Friday, some flurries down to -3, -3, fairer weather, a mixture of sun and clouds Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will go from -1 to +2, +4, and then +1 and be cloudy with some wet flakes. Temperatures take a nosedive tonight, tomorrow, and then recover next week. Happy New Year, folks, once again.
As people gather to ring in the new year, health experts say it's important not to bring along an uninvited guest, the flu. Canada has been seeing higher flu test positivity levels than any of the last respiratory virus seasons. The latest figures published by Public Health Ontario showed even higher levels in this province, particularly among children and youth. Infectious disease experts say it's not too late to get the flu shot and other seasonal vaccines, but if you're already sick, it's best to stay home to avoid spreading whatever infection you may have. The new year means the introduction of some new rules and regulations across the country. The voluntary Grocery Code of Conduct will roll out tomorrow. It's a response to contentious fees being charged to suppliers by large grocery retailers. While it does not address the rising cost of food for you, the consumer, it does aim to promote fair dealings between grocers and their suppliers and bring more transparency to this industry. As of tomorrow, grocers, suppliers, and other members will be able to submit formal complaints. The Office of the Canada Grocery Code will also start collecting annual membership dues. Also starting tomorrow, employers with 25 or more employees will have to include salary ranges in certain job postings. The new rule applies to jobs with salaries between $50,000 and $200,000 a year. Under the amended Employment Standards Act, employers are required to detail all compensation, including bonuses and commissions, and must disclose the use of AI in the hiring process. Candidates who make it to the interview stage must be informed of the company's ultimate hiring decision within 45 days. And carbon monoxide alarms will be mandatory on every floor of a home under the Ontario Fire Code. The alarms must be outside every bedroom, but will also be mandatory on floors that don't have any bedrooms. In multi-unit residential buildings like apartments or condos, there must also be carbon monoxide alarms in every suite and in all hallways.
Did we take too long to adjust? I think there's some responsibility there.
Coming up, what a major immigration shift could signal for Canada's future. Ottawa is slowing the flow of immigration into Canada as the federal government takes a tougher stance on the issue. CTV's Adrian Golbriel reports now on the consequences that have as the country charts a new course.
Canada's once ambitious immigration targets have led to a hard landing.
We're reducing the numbers of immigrants that will come to Canada for the next 3 years.
The former Trudeau government acknowledging they made some mistakes. In 2022, Canada welcomed more than 405,000 newcomers, with plans for 465,000 permanent residents in 2023, 485,000 in 2024, and 500,000 in 2025.
Did we take too long to adjust? I think there's some responsibility there.
The government eventually reworked its plans to decrease its target to 395,000 permanent residents this year, while lowering that number even more over the next 2 years. The about-face set in motion a seismic shift in Canada's immigration policy that has played out over the last 12 months.
We've got this huge influx of people on Canadian soil expecting permanent residence who won't get it.
The number of international student visas were slashed this year, leading to college and university program cancellations and sweeping job cuts.
We're seeing one of the largest mass layoffs in Ontario's history.
A cap on international student permits that began in 2024 and into 2025 will see a further reduction in 2026. As Frost Weeks rolled onto campus this year, international students were taking note.
A lot of international students dream of studying abroad. I have a sister. She might be wanting to study abroad, and caps like this are affecting her.
It's a concern shared by Canadian university executives.
60% decrease in the number of new students approved to attend Canadian universities in the first quarter of this year. They, in fact, help pay for more spots for Canadian-born students to attend university because international students pay higher tuition fees.
Ottawa put a limit on foreign students in part to help ease the pressure on the cost of rental housing while trying to reduce the burden on hospitals and other public infrastructure and social services. Citizenship Canada says its aim is also to create a pipeline of international student graduates whose skills match the country's long-term economic and labor needs, adding eligible fields include healthcare, social services, education, and the trades. In his first news conference in May following the federal election, newly minted Prime Minister Mark Carney pulled in the reins on immigration even tighter.
We will return our immigration to sustainable levels by capping the total number of temporary workers.
That led to an outcry from some labor groups, even a lawsuit against the federal government, filed by a conglomerate of Quebec-based businesses who claim they're losing money and now unable to fill vacant job postings.
These companies either have to slow down production, refuse contracts, and in certain cases, they will even close down certain shifts. We can think of weekend shifts, night shifts, because we can't find the workers that we need.
The Carney government has pressed on, promising to cap the level of foreign workers and international students by less than 5% of the country's population. The 2025 federal budget highlighted that in 2018, 3.3% of Canada's population were temporary residents. By 2024, that number had more than doubled to 7.5%, an unprecedented rate of growth that put pressure on housing supply, the healthcare system, and schools. Canada's new government recognizes that this system is no longer sustainable.
We will work to attract the best talent in the world to build our economy.
The recent spike in the country's population has in part resulted in nearly zero GDP per capita growth over the last number of years, meaning the slice of the economic pie is getting smaller for each Canadian. A country built on the back of immigration has now recalibrated as it charts a new course into an uncertain economic future. Adrian Gobrel, CTV News, Toronto.
Governor General Mary Simon has announced the latest round of appointments to the Order of Canada. They include 7-time Olympic medalist Andre DeGrasse, who made history at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio as the first Canadian to medal in all 3 sprint events. Then he went on to do it again in Tokyo in 2021. Children's entertainer and one of my favorites, Raffi, is getting promoted to champion, which is the highest designation in the Order of Canada. The Baby Beluga singer-songwriter was first invested as a member in 1983. The Order of Canada recognizes people who have made extraordinary contributions to Canada.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. Light the way for those facing loss. Your gift empowers the CMHA's bereavement program to provide critical grief education, peer support, and counseling for children and adults navigating profound loss. See you next time on Our Community.
Team Canada is looking to secure first place in their pool at the World Juniors as they face off against Finland tonight.
Michael Hayes feeds that down, takes the return pass, slings it across, score! Fired home by Gavin McKenna. 9 seconds into the power play, Canada's got a 1-0 lead.
Canada is so far undefeated in the tournament, winning their first 3 games, including a dominating game 9-1 win over the Danes. But Canada is in for a tough test tonight against the Finns, with first place in Group B on the line heading into the quarterfinals on Friday. Puck drop for tonight's game is at 8:30. You can catch all of the action on TSN.
Go Canada, go. Go Canada, go. Go Canada, go.
The 25-player Olympic men's hockey roster was unveiled this morning. Many of the players going to Italy in February were on Canada's 4 Nations winning teams, such as, of course, Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby. But there are a few new faces, including forwards Macklin Celebrini, Bo Horvat, Nick Suzuki, and Tom Wilson. Hockey is an expensive sport, but there's a new kind of stick on the market designed by an Ontario man. That stick is cheaper and it's stronger. CTV's Carol Charles has the story.
Zachariah Thomas is getting some ice time in between running his own business. The arena, a place he considers a second home. Thomas began playing hockey with the Oshawa Minor Generals at the age of 10. He played in the CHL in Quebec and moved up through the ranks, eventually landing in a minor pro league in New York. When the pandemic hit, things changed. He shifted his focus to his love of business, starting his own hockey stick brand in 2022 called Swift Hockey.
I kept seeing a really strong problem over and over again where sticks kept breaking. And especially in Oshawa, a lot of parents were being priced out, and it just kind of had a hard feeling for me every single day seeing that situation over and over again.
He put pen to paper and started research with his team.
Truthfully, just using the hockey stick on the ice. Like, I would go to China, they would ship me a bunch of sticks, I would test the sticks out, and I was able to do the research and development aspect because I was a former pro player.
After much trial and error, he is happy with the final product.
So they're made out of carbon fiber. We use the highest grade carbon fiber we could find, and on top of that, we add extra carbon layers throughout the stick to make it a little bit more durable, so the stick's not breaking.
A welcome option for parents like Krista Hilton, who has 2 sons currently playing rep hockey, one in the OHL.
It's much more affordable, it's much easier on my pocketbook, and you know, when annual fees for rep hockey is upwards of $10,000 a year, you know, anything helps.
And her son Travis freely admits he's had his share of broken sticks.
Through this year, about like seven sticks.
Swift hockey sticks are priced between $200 to $250, almost half the price of more established brands, and they are NHL certified. He launched Swift Hockey in 2022 and gained national attention through a Dragon's Den appearance. Now the brand has gone global, selling equipment online and in stores in Canada and the US. Sales are now close to $7 million. Thomas's hard work hasn't gone unnoticed. He was recently named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list in the retail and e-commerce category.
Arguably, like, one of the biggest awards in my heart, the Forbes 30 Under 30 award. It was a great accomplishment for me and my family and the team.
His company's long-term goal is to keep kids mentally and physically healthy by making all sports more affordable and accessible. A portion of every Swift Hockey stick sale goes to providing sticks to young players and supporting hockey programs in underserved communities. Carol Charles, CTV News.
911, do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
At 911 dispatch centers everywhere, some calls are life and death, others not so much. When we return, the calls that make dispatchers shake their head. Oh, I love a good flag shot. Everyone here will know that. I love a good flag shot. Great day for it. Lots of wind out there, and lots of snow and ice and freezing rain. What a mess today.
You're right about that. That mixture making travel, Michelle, not the best tonight. Unfortunately, the timing's not great with New Year's Eve today into a very cold New Year's Day. So ice pellets, freezing rain, snow grain, snow itself, all happening now through tonight. It'll feel like about minus 15 at midnight, by the way. We'll see some sunshine for the first day of 2026. Then flurries will go from minus 6 to minus 3 Thursday, Friday. Saturday, Sunday, not so bad, minus 3, minus 1. Fair on Saturday, some flurries on Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, plus 2, plus 4, plus 1. We'll be above the freezing mark. Not great for the ice rinks, because I know your backyard's always an arena. So,
we're filling it today, so yes, those high temperatures are not what we want to see.
Not good.
With that first number is what we want to see, that big minus number, but it is what it is in Windsor.
You're right about that.
Thanks so much, Gary. Finally, for us tonight, 911 dispatchers have heard it all. And as 2025 comes to a close, operators are sharing the most unusual occasions that put their patients to the test. CTV's Andrew Johnson on some of the silliest supposed emergency calls.
911, do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
At British Columbia's busiest 911 dispatch center, every call could involve a life or death situation.
We can have anything like stabbings or shootings, assaults, very high priority calls.
And every call could also be a big waste of time.
Okay, so you landed at the airport and then you're trying to get into your Airbnb, but the door is locked. Are you safe right now? Okay, well, unfortunately, because it's not an emergency, we won't be able to assist you with it.
ECOM in BC handles more than 2 million 911 calls per year. Its target is to answer 95% of those calls within 5 seconds.
911.
So they'd rather you not call if someone stole your parking spot.
Sorry, so you're calling 911 because you wanted to take a parking spot, but somebody else took your parking spot, but then you saw that this person wasn't going into Starbucks, they were actually using that parking spot to go into Fraser Mart.
Don't like your haircut? Take it up with your stylist.
What are you wanting police to do?
If you're being harassed by a hornet, call the exterminator, not 911.
Okay, are you, safe, I guess, besides the hornet being there?
When it feels like gridlock is going to be the end of you, resist the urge.
You don't call 911 for a traffic report. That's inappropriate use of this.
Finally, it can feel life or death if you're about to miss your flight, but first responders can't do anything about your oversized carry-on.
Well, unfortunately, the police can't help you with that. If that's the rule of the airline, you have to follow the rule of the airline.
Honorable mentions this year go to the person who was looking for emergency help when their dishwasher wouldn't work, and the caller who was upset Walmart wouldn't allow them to return their air fryer. There's always 2026. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, hopefully dispatchers are not busy this evening, and as this is our last broadcast of 2025, and there is no late newscast tonight because, of course, it is New Year's Eve. It has, of course, been a year of big ups and downs, some heartbreaking stories, but, of course, some uplifting ones. On our website, we have put together a list of the year's most clicked stories of 2025. You can find it at ctvnewswindsor.ca. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor on both sides of the camera, we thank you for supporting local news.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Now, tomorrow at 6, we have a special 1-hour year in review show we hope you'll tune in for.
For now, though, we leave you with one last look at 2025 with the sights and sounds of fireworks from the other side of the world.
Good night and happy New Year.
Happy New Year.